Do you think about that ever?
Yeah,
Do you like Chris Brown?
a little bit, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. You like Chris Brown? He's done a lot of bad things. What about that? What did you say about that?
You can separate the art from the artist.
Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be so entertaining. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Talk Podcast. I hope you guys are doing well. So, this is going to be actually my second reaction to the YouTube channel King Richez. This podcast episode is actually 2 years old now. But still, I think not only is it entertaining, it's still valid, I would say, because you will find this mindset that I will put in front of you guys now a lot out there. I'm not here to make fun of anyone. I want that to be clear. But sometimes you just cannot help it when things are funny, okay? So let's take a look and see what this young woman has to say.
What do you lot think about Andrew Tate being released from prison? Oh, you kissed your teeth. What do you think about it?
Andrew, what?
You heard?
I feel like Andrew Tate is nothing but an image to distract us from everything. Like, the internet has already said whatever they've said. What I find it wrong is that he's already come forward and said that's not his real personality. It's just his online character. But he has young children looking up to him.
Cardi B's got young children looking up to her as well.
Gonna say.
Cardi B doesn't really.
Oh, we're not even a minute in and I need to stop already because to me, if I was the host, I would be already confused because what was the question? What do you think to him being released? What was her answer? I don't know.
Let her
Doesn't-
children
doesn't-
around her music.
And so what? That actually makes it worse.
Well, let's just listen in again. This is so good.
You heard?
I feel like Andrew Tate is nothing but an image to distract us from everything. Like, the internet has already said whatever they've said. What I find it wrong is that he's already come forward and said that's not his real personality. It's just his online character. But he has young children looking up to him.
Cardi B's got young children looking up to her as well.
Gonna say.
Cardi B doesn't really let her
Doesn't-
children
doesn't-
around her music.
And so what?
So I'm just going to interpret what I think I understand from what she's saying. I'm thinking she's not too positive. She doesn't like the fact that he's been released from prison. Now, people who might not know who or what is around this Andrew Tate topic, that is a man who was or is still a social media personality. That's how I would put it. He used to be a boxer or some kind of fighter, whatnot, and knowingly, he also used to do some kind of how do you call it? He set up this online page where women could go online and talk to men for money, right? And that is a choice. And he said that openly, and he would all have these ideas about how he thinks, masculinity should be, how women should be, all these things. Like having his opinion, sharing it openly on the internet, it grew vastly. It took over. So many men were like, interested in what he wanted to say. Young men liked it. Obviously, with life, some people are going to take everything so dramatically serious. Some people might take it the wrong way. That's just how things go. But basically, he got so much attention for his provocative way of putting his opinion out there that people started coming for him. They started bringing, especially given the fact that he used to be involved in some kind of sex business where, you're doing online stuff, all that stuff. People started putting on him this claim that he was trafficking women, right? So the whole situation, I guess now 2 years ago, maybe 3, there was never any charge. And he and his brother, but he for sure, were imprisoned, okay? And it took months. They got released, and the whole situation, the whole world was talking about it, that, okay, we might not like this man for what he says, how he lives his life, his opinions, and all these things. You don't need to like and agree to everything. But one thing for sure is that is wrong, is to imprison someone without having any proof, without any charge. So that is just a quick summary, okay? Now, I did not follow up long term afterwards how things are today. But for what I understand, I would claim that he's still outside, he's a free man, whatever. Looking back to this podcast, the question is, what do you think about him? being released. The way she answered, I'm assuming she doesn't like it because in her mind, he is someone who is influencing a bunch of young people in a negative way, right? Now he comes up with the same kind of play to give an introduction on Cardi B, who's also well known, who also has a critical or, kind of extreme way of living life, her past and current, and who's also influencing young minds in, to be honest, not always the most positive way, right? And why is this young woman taking this topic, a general topic, influencing a bunch of people, to now suddenly talking about Cardi B's child or children? How does that make sense? And this is going to be so interesting because Cardi B is exactly this one person who doesn't even want her children to get influenced by any kind of derogatory lifestyle, any kind of stupidity. Her daughters are having the finest lessons. They're having, piano lessons. They go private school. They learn how to speak correct, right? They're not involved in consuming all these mainstream things that these people are actually making money off of us, teaching us all these things. You're just thinking you're having fun with it, not realizing how much you're being drawn into it. How does this happen that we're talking about a broad, general idea and you just want to crack it down to their private life?
That actually makes it worse.
From
So
what Sorry.
Cardi B can go out there and make songs called WAP and all of this kind of promiscuous, provocative, hypersexual music and music videos that is broadcasted to everybody, daytime TV, where everyone's children can look at it. But that's no problem with that. But Andrew Tate, he's doing whatever he's doing. Now there's a problem. Don't you see? That's like hypocrisy. Do you
But
understand
I
that,
feel like
have you seen what he's gone to jail for?
bro? And
And people have come
Cardi
forward.
B said that she drugged people and robbed them.
with Andrew Tate.
No.
Sorry.
That
Okay, I will be pausing a lot because you just, in this conversation, it's not only what she's saying that is important, is the body language. Okay, there's something that we women like to do sometimes when we just want to dismiss whatever you're saying. There's a certain look that comes to it. I know that some people are going to say, oh, you're reaching and you cannot generalize that on all women. I know that. But be for real.
And rob them. Like hypocrisy. Do you understand
I
that,
feel like
have you seen what he's gone to jail for?
bro? And
And
Cardi
people have
B
come
and Cardi
forward.
B said that she drugged people and robbed them.
with Andrew Tate.
No.
Just letting the eyes fall, dismissive manner, shaking it off with the head is it's very small notions, but this is basically telling me, I don't care if she did that. So what? I still support Cardi B. Look, which is fine. This is a musician, okay? If you love the music, if you like the attitude, that is fine. But the reality or the topic is what is wrong is wrong. We cannot pretend to say, okay, yes, you can say there and say, look, I just like her music. I like the way she dressed. I love the attitude, whatnot. But if you were genuine, or maybe I'm not trying to be offensive right now, but maybe she's really not understanding the point. But if you were genuine, you would see the fact that, yes, this woman who really came out saying, this is what I used to do. I would rob men. I would drug them. I would teach other women even how to do this. I would influence people to do this. This is who I used to be. This is a crime, okay? And it is dangerous to that person's life, right? That person perhaps couldn't even, like, you put something into someone's drink, they could have whatever kind of reaction that could end up deadly. Okay, so this is not a joking matter. And if that is the case, a genuine person, a smart person would say, that's wrong. And to have that kind of person influencing and perhaps even, being in forefront of young people, you could see why people would say, ooh, I don't want to support that. That is wrong. You might like the music, you might like the bounce, but when something is bad and wrong, it is bad and wrong. And I'm sorry to say, but it's these kind of mindset why it's so easy, why we're hearing more and more of these kind of weird stories of, you know, parties. Someone was invited to a party, young woman was invited to a party, and then afterwards something happened. It's this kind of mindset because they want to pick and choose when it's okay to do wrong. They want to pick and choose who they like for them to do wrong. Does that make sense?
No.
I'm sorry.
That is not the same.
What do you mean? I never said it's
And
the
I'm not.
exact. Listen, I never said it's the exact same crime. I said that he's accused of something.
Mhm.
She confessed something. That's different.
She's
And
taking
you ain't got no
accountability.
problem,
There was no
bruv. You ain't got no problem.
accountability to that. Let's be honest. I think I spoke on that topic it's years ago when she came up with that. She literally recorded herself and shared it on, social media. And if I remember correctly, there was no consequence to that. There was no man who charged her. There was no state who saw that, and there was no case to that. There were actually people who were praising her, celebrating it. You go, girl. You do these to that man. They deserve that. Stupid mindset.
Problem with Cardi B. So basically, your mindset is this: Cardi B is okay and Andrew Tate is not okay because Cardi B can make songs that everybody likes, even though it actually pushes a bad.
Wait a minute before this continues. Forgive me, guys. I will be pausing a lot, but something just came to mind because just a few hours ago, I was recording a new episode talking about this Diddy trial. Okay. And we are all against it. We're all devastated. The whole world is bashing and shaming this man, right? And the case is still going on. The trial is still going on. I mean, look, we have a situation where a woman says, this is what I did. This is what I used to do, having fun with it to my advantage, drugging these men, stealing from them, putting them in harm and dangerous situation, manipulating them, presenting myself to do something that we thought we both agreed on, but then afterwards, when I get them in that bad position, I'm going to do what I want to do. That's a woman saying that. To me, woman, man, old, young, if you're doing stuff like this, you're bad, you're wrong, okay? It's disgusting. You're evil, trifling, and you deserve consequence for that. And now look how comfortable we are to just try to make that such a light case, okay? And now it's a man who did that. Not even the Diddy case, just follow me along general. Now it's a man who would come on the internet, record himself, and say, yeah, that's what I used to do. I would put this in them drinks and then I would get these women to do what I want to do and all that stuff. You see how I'm already cringing, right? You see how easily you would be like, wrong, 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 bad, bad, bad. You need to go to jail, prison, lock him up, do the worst, cancel him, all that good stuff. Basically, when something is wrong, it's wrong. We do not care who is doing it. We do not care about your skin color. We shouldn't care about how beautiful, attractive you are. We shouldn't care if you have money or not. If you did something that is harmful to someone else, you're a shit person. I'm sorry to say.
The gender and actually the degenerate agenda onto young women, but that's okay because she doesn't play it to her own child.
I feel
And
like
she confessed to drugging and robbing men, but that's okay because she said it. So it's
And that part actually should even show you who to be more careful of, right? Because here you have one person who's like, I'm going to sell these ideas to the whole public, to the general public, especially to younger people. I'm going to profit off of it. I'm going to tell them this is how it is. I don't cook, I don't clean, I rob men, I do this, I twerk everywhere, I'm naked, more sexualizing, more this, more that. Okay. But when it comes to my own family and my own kids, and that's not even people making this up. That's like, since we're talking about the example using Cardi B, that's her again coming to the public, recording herself and saying, no, no, no. I wouldn't let my daughter culture, I wouldn't, or whatever her kids' names are, right? I wouldn't let my kids listen to my own music. Get that. Let that sink in for a minute. I wouldn't let my own kids listen to my own music. Not even like, I don't even let my kids listen to hip hop in general, or no, but her own music because she knows, she understands the danger, the nonsense, the stupidity covered in bouncy, beat. We get that. But she knows. She knows the truth behind it. She knows the negative outcome. She knows why it's not good for her young children to consume the message that she's putting out there to the world, because their brains are not ready for it, and it might influence them to do wrong things and make wrong choices in life, right? And even those who are older, it could still influence you in a wrong way. We get the freedom of choice. I'm not trying to go that long, but we need to say that. And then you have another man who is publicly sharing his opinion. That's my opinion all the time. That's my opinion in front of my private people. That's my opinion in front of my brother. That's my opinion in front of my kids. You see the difference?
It's okay. Doesn't make it okay. If somebody's a serial killer and they confess to being a serial killer, would you be like, oh, that's okay, because at least he confessed to it? Exactly.
Nobody said it was okay that
I
she
didn't
did that,
say it was
though.
okay.
Bro, no, but she was defending Cardi B. She was defending